Thank you so much. It's another proof how special the hockey audience is here in Czechia and how special game 13 will definitely be. Because we're about to see the 28 times IIHF World Champion, the lineup full of Stanley Cup winners, IIHF World Champions, first draft picks, Team Canada is
Thank you. We are bringing home the gold to Denmark.
Vil du ikke være med?
number 38, Brandon Hagel. Number 18, Luc Dubois. And number 91, John Tavares. Head coach of Team Canada is Andrea Turini. The assistant coaches Dean Evanson and Jay Woodcroft.
There he is. Hi, bud.
Let's introduce the lineup for Team Denmark. Goalkeepers, number 43, Matthias Teldrup. And number 80, Frederik Bicho. First line, number 15, Matthias Lassen. Number 22, Marcus Lauritsen. Number 29, Mikael Åborg. Number 63, Patrick Russell. And number 86, Joachim Lichfeldt. Second line, number 25, Oliver Lauritsen. Number 41, Jesper Jensen Olmo. Number 11, Alexander True. Number 77, Matthias From. And number 95, Nick Olesen. Third line, number 42, Philip Brugista. Number 48, Nicholas Jensen. Number 12, Oscar Mulgård. Number 54, Felix Skier. And number 71, Niklas Andersen. Fourth line, number 47, Oliver Larsen. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on ice, Team Denmark! And also, please welcome world champions, Team Canada!
Back here in Prague on day 3 of the 2024 World Hockey Championship, Captain John Tavares leads Canada on the ice against Denmark. Tavares' last international appearance, the 2016 World Cup. His last IIHF event was the 2014 Olympics in Sochi, where he won a gold medal, was injured in that tournament. So Tavares, a late ad for Canada. And here are today's referees. They're Riku Brander of Finland, Thomas Runsky from Slovakia, the linesman from Germany, Tim Hefner, and Andreas Hofer. And there was the head coach of Denmark, Michael Gott. First time as the coach of the Danish national team, the last 4 years coaching in Sweden's Allsvenskan. He was a head coach in Denmark previously. Andre Tourigny is coaching Canada for the 3rd straight World Championship, the head coach of what was Arizona, now Utah, in the NHL. And Andrew Mangiapane, one of several Canadians who's won a gold medal recently at the World Championship. He was the MVP in 2021. But Denmark had the last laugh on Canada the last meeting 2 years ago. A 3-2 win. The Danes took a 2-0 lead early, went on to the 3-2 victory. Marcus Lorentzen, who's here for Denmark today, opened the scoring in that game. And starting goaltender, once again for Denmark, is Frederick Diko, allowed 1 goal on 17 shots yesterday against Austria. They come back in back-to-back. The Danes do have an open goaltending spot. Perhaps waiting for Frederick Anderson, whose Carolina Hurricanes staved off elimination yesterday. And Jordan Binnington makes his first appearance internationally for Canada since the 2013 World Junior Championship in Russia. He played just 35 minutes in relief in 1 game in that tournament. And waiting for the smoke to clear in another packed arena. The attendance here through the first 3 days has been remarkable. They're on track to break the attendance record that was set here in the 2015 tournament. Denmark up a 5-1 win over Austria. Canada beat Great Britain 4-2.
Sneak box, let's go!
Rico Brander gets them off to a fair start, and Denmark, the home team in this game, has the last change. Colton Parayko to steal there, and the play is offside at the Danish blue line.
Andre Tournier understands for Canada, this entire tournament is about improvement. It's not about being the best on day one, it's about being the best on the last day. And John Tavares being added to the group helps them have a chance to do that. It'll take him a few days to get up and running. It's been a week since he played. It's been about 24 hours since he arrived.
Yeah.
And it is a 4 p.m. local start, which makes it a, 10 a.m. body clock for him start after I'm sure it was a disjointed night's sleep. So temper expectations for what you see out of Tavares today.
Tavares, the first overall pick now on the Canadian roster, joining Connor Bedard, who was first overall last year, and Owen Power, who was first overall in 2021. Jack McBain steps in for the face-off after the icing, a world champion last year for Canada.
A prolific international career at a young point. He played in the Olympics as well, did Jack McBain in 22.
And Parayko plays it across to Power, who won a gold medal in 2021 as a draft-eligible player back then for Canada. That long shot steered away from Brandon Tanev. And here's Power with it.
Tanev. One shift, one helmet knocked off an opponent. He is an energizing bunny.
In comes Dawson Mercer, who gave up his number 91 for Tavares, moved to number 18. Now True banks that in, the bouncing puck loose in front for a moment. And Tavares backhands that rink wide for Pierre-Luc Dubois. The forward line right now is Hagel with Tavares and Pierre-Luc Dubois.
There you see Hogard waiting for his helmet. Here comes Turbo. Nothing wrong with that hit.
And by the way, if you're wondering, his headshot that they take for the tournament, he got the eyes wide open.
Oh, good.
That's his trademark, going back to his days. I believe in Pittsburgh he first did it.
Also worth noting, international hockey, you cannot pick your helmet back up and put it on.
Right, that's a subtle rule difference.
As soon as it comes off, you have to change. There is no other option.
And now Hagelin across the line. We're off to a slow start here with some offside and icing calls.
Radko Gudas learned the helmet rule the hard way
last
night, as he did not know that and picked up a penalty for it. That was one of the subtle rule differences that is explained to the teams before the tournament start.
Now the rule books have been pretty much merged. The IIHF rule book is almost identical to the NHL rule. There are a couple of changes, but most notably the fighting rules are dramatically different. Dubois plays that around for Tavares. And now picked up by Hagel. 26 goals this year for Brandon Hagel. Had 30 the year before for Tampa. Tavares for Hagel. Now Hagel back with it. Dubois loose behind the goal. Crisscrossing there with Tavares. Dubois plays that back, and the line is held by Bowen Byram. Dubois racing to it. Drops it off to Jamie Alexiak. Pulls it on base, sends it back in front, tipped wide by Hagel. Now Nick Paul back with it as Connor Bedard comes off the Canadian bench. Paul looking for him. Goes back instead to McBain, to Paul. Bedard standing in front. Now grabs the loose puck and banks it back down to Michael Bunting. Bedard and Bunting both scored in Canada's opener. That pass hit the referee's skate. And now Paul back on it for Severson. Michael Bunting back with it. To Bedard. Throws it back in front. That pass is picked off by Oliver Lauritsen. And that shot just misses at the side as Bedard picks it up. Now Bedard winds back across and shoots, scores!
Oh, they
no
waved
goal.
it off.
No goal. They're going to say.
But Lauritsen pushing Nick Paul into the crease. They waved it off clearly as Nick Paul was definitely in the crease. But he was put in there by Oliver Lauritsen. And the referees will get together and talk about it. No, Bedard slinging it in from the blue line. But Paul, actually, or it's Bunting, sorry. And he's getting shoved right back in there, trying to stay out. See, if this was the NHL, you would challenge this. Right. And you would win it because he was helped in the crease by the defender.
And you can challenge this.
Yes. I'm not as sure as the standards that they hold for crease violations. They are generally more.
James Emery is the Canadian video coach.
Like he's standing outside and he gets up on one foot trying to keep his balance. I'm thinking you challenge it if you figure you got a decent chance at it.
You see Jay Woodcroft on the right, one of the assistant coaches for Canada, along with Dean Evison. So we'll take a look at this, and
I mean, you would think it's pretty clear cut. When you're willing to roll the dice on a potential penalty, this would be Connor Bedard's third goal in just 2 games, if it counts. And it will just come down to one question. Did Michael Bunting work hard enough to stay out of the crease?
Right, so.
Because there's no doubt he was pushed in there. There's no doubt he was in there. If you think he could have gotten out, it's no goal. If you think that he was out and shoved in by big Lauritsen, which he was, then it would be a goal.
Yeah.
And he got up on 1 foot, and once you're up on 1 foot, like, you have no leverage to move anywhere. So I understand the challenge. I would expect it to be counted a goal, but it does have to overturn the call on the ice, which is a higher standard than confirming a call from the ice. Didn't take very long, though. That's a good sign.
Here's referee Rico Brander with the call.
After media review, the call on the ice overturned. We have a good goal.
And guess who's got his third in 2 games? Connor Bedard has struck again.
And this line was the one line you knew they were not going to touch. Bedard and Paul and Bunting, great chemistry together. And Michael Bunting goes to where he has to go to. And it's a big net to shoot at. Deco distracted, screened, and bothered by the 2 bodies in front.
This is Connor Bedard's 29th game internationally for Canada. His 33rd goal.
And we keep bumping into, well, this is the level he won't be able to score a lot at. He's 17 in the World Juniors. You know, that doesn't happen. Well, it does, and it did. He's 18 at the World Championship. It doesn't happen. Well, here we are, 3-2, and we just started the second game.
17 goals in 16 games at the World Junior for Canada, including one that was postponed. And so Bedard has 3 goals on 5 shots so far in this tournament. In comes Dylan Cousins. Now a long shot by Caden Cooley is blocked, and Severson has it back. Mangiapane with it. In 2015, Sidney Crosby came after Pittsburgh was knocked out of the first round, and it caused a sensation here in Prague. There's a lot of talk about Bedard here, and that's why this building is full again today for a game between Canada and Denmark. The host team's not playing today. Slapped back in by Jared McCann, who's now Canada's 13th forward, despite the fact that he tied Tavares for the most goals on the Canadian roster with 29 this year.
A little internal competition to try to establish a regular spot in the rotation.
Tanev.
That can't be a penalty unless you know there's a whistle.
Stepped into Brugesser. That draws some attention.
And that's on the officials, Gordon. They have to recognize Tanev coming in there as fast as he can. He's not slowing down. He doesn't know it's an offside. He's way ahead of the linesman. You got to blow it before, louder, to give him a chance to stop.
And that's what Tanev's saying. The official, I didn't hear a whistle.
No, he's not going to get a penalty for it. But Brugesser would be like, hey, guys, you got to protect me. You don't blame Tanev. That one's on the officials. And Tanev having a nice heart-to-heart with Rico Brander. I can't hear a thing out here. Doesn't help Brugesser, who's eating the glass.
I mentioned Denmark beat Canada 2 years ago. Norway took Canada down last year. The Canadians lost to Latvia and Germany in 2021. That shot by Russell is blocked and kicked out by Tanev. that Turbo nickname is
so appropriate.
If you put him and Bunting on the same line,
chaos will ensue.
Mercer goes rink wide to McCann. And again, on international rules, teams can dress 20 skaters as opposed to 18 in the NHL. As Parayko winds in. Different countries do it differently. A lot of European countries go 8D, 12 forwards. Canada and the U.S. generally 13 and 7. Tavares centers it, just missed Alexiak, who was jumping up.
That's because North American defensemen don't like 7, let alone 8. They don't like 6.
Byram threads it ahead for Tavares. Double gold medalist of the World Junior in 08 and 09. He had the famous pass to Jordan Eberle in that semifinal against Russia in 09. Now move back in front. Tavares to Alexiak. Up to Pierre-Luc Dubois. That's knocked down by True and sent back in. And Jordan Binnington out to play it. Binnington had a .913 save percentage this year for St. Louis, his best since the Blues won the Cup in 2019. And he, of course, a huge part of that. And a Storm with a shot. Rattles off a stick, up and out of play.
Connor Bedard, you're right. Talking to fans, talking to our driver, talking to people around the hotel. Everyone asking about Connor Bedard. He is the guy that they want to see him. Why not? Given what he has achieved in his young career. Led all rookies in goals and points. Finalist for the Calder. I think he'll probably win it. Demo Brock Faber.
And here comes Bedard with it, along with Bunting. Bedard chips that down. There's lots of Chicago 98s here in Prague. And the pregame warm-up saw layers of kids around the glass asking for a stick as it bounces into the glove of Deco.
And part of Connor Bedard having success is finding chemistry with the right kind of players. And he's playing on the wing in this tournament, so you want a defensively sound centerman, Nick Paul. A puck pursuer, a guy who gets turned over, and then you want a guy who can make plays but also get to the front of the net, Michael Bunting. Like, you can see why they went with that mix to start, and it's worked so far. Now the other line's just got to...
Right, Mangiapane with a shot, and Deco makes the save on that.
And Mangiapane, one of the A wearers, just not on the whites. And he was called the CEO of Canada.
Yes.
The Chief Energy Officer by Coach André Tourigny for the way that he plays and the energy that he brings.
Dylan Cousins battles for that face-off, but it's controlled by the Danes. Denmark finished 10th last year. They've been between 9th and 12th each of the last 6 World Championships.
What a breakout.
Cousins up ahead for Dylan Gunther. That skipped away from him. Denmark won promotion in 2002 from Division 1A and have been in the top division ever since. Severson down to Cousins. Severson walks in, a backhand shot. Deco save, a loose puck scooped up and played away by Morten Poulsen.
And that's off its moorings.
13:55 to go here in the opening period.
That was a really slick rotation at the top of the offensive zone that sprung Severson. And a little give and go with Cousins. He's trying to take it to the backhand. stopped, and eventually his Gunther thrown into the net, but the defensive team knocked the moorings off, so they can't change, and there is no commercial timeout.
Denmark made one appearance of the World Championship prior to 2003. That was in the 1949 tournament. They lost 25-1 to Austria, lost 47-0 to Canada. Got into the relegation, lost another one, and then forfeited their last 2 games because too many players were sick of getting scored on, I presume. There's Olin Zellweger with it. 2 assists in 6 minutes of ice time.
It's efficient. Points per 60, leading the team.
That was against Great Britain yesterday. Britain beaten earlier 8-0 by Finland here today. As Nick Jensen plays that ahead, he got crunched down
by
Tanev. Here's Hagel with it. Loose behind the goal. He gets bumped off the puck momentarily by Brugaser. Played back by Dubois. And a hard shot by Alexiuk. And the save made by Deco. Canada's got a 1-0 lead and goal by Connor Bedard here in Prague.
And Quebec are here with us. And they have something special for you. And it is an official merchandise. 4 official red t-shirts. So if there is anyone who wants this amazing t-shirt, come on, there's still 1 t-shirt left. Okay, so they don't.
6-0 the shots on goal in favor of Canada. Kings have made 2 quarterfinal appearances all time in 2010 and 2016. That would be their goal this year, to get to the top 4 in this group. Hagel sent that rink wide. Blickfeld broke that up. Now a chance for Joachim Blickfeld, who had 2 goals against Austria. Hagel drops it back for Dubois, throws that just wide of the goal. Blickfeld has 7 goals in 8 games at 2 World Championships for Denmark.
Got a hat trick last year, got a 2-goal game in the first one this year.
And they'll need him to score. Former Western Hockey League Player of the Year with the Portland Winterhawks. Hagel banks that back to Alexiuk. The long reach keeps that alive. Feeds it back down. Now Hagel down to Dubois. Dubois throws it back in front for Hagel. That's knocked away by Lassen. Hagel back on it. Feeds that down to Paul. Nick Paul. Back out to Byram, and that shot flutters wide from Hagel.
Didn't quite get that one.
End of a long shift. Here's Paul with it. As Bunting and Bedard come on. And Paul trying to dig that free as Severson steps up for Canada. Patrick Russell goes the other way, and by Caden Gooley back down to the Canadian zone. Danes make a quick change. Here's Bedard with it, drops it off to Severson. Lead pass missed Bedard, and icing called against Canada.
Connor Bedard takes some unique routes on the ice. You watch him move around, trying to create space, and there will be a little chemistry needed between the defenseman and him, knowing where he likes to go.
It's one of the great benefits of playing in the World Championship, right? Playing with different players.
It's like a master class in hockey again. New coaches, new teammates.
And now a steal by From, in shoots, and Binnington makes his first save.
Not an easy one.
Here's Matthias From back with it. Wants a Chicago 5th-round pick. With the Danish League in goals and points this year. Back in front of jam play. And Nick Olesen turned away. From plays it back, and a hard shot by Jesper Jensen Abo. Turned away, now Bedard back the other way. And the changing as Bedard works in. He's buried from behind by Alexander True. Here comes Matthias Fromm. That pass was picked off. Dylan Gunther lost his stick. From winds back in. Throws it back in front. That was knocked away by Mangiapane. Battle for it in the corner. Dylan Cousins on it. Loose in front. Knocked away by Parayko. That pass turned over. Storm with it. And the Canadian coaching staff won't like these turnovers. And Cousins one. Flips it away to Paulson. That's turned away as well as Parayko lifts it off the glass and out to center ice to Mangiapane. The MVP of the 2021 tournament. Only played 7 games. He missed the first 3. There was COVID restrictions in place. Then he came late and had to quarantine. Canada lost its first 3 games. Made the medal round and won the gold medal. Now McCann, a shot that's knocked away. The only team in the history of this tournament to lose its first 3 and make the medal round, never mind win the gold. That was in Latvia. No shield on it, gets bumped there by McBain. Oscar Molgaard brings that back around. Racing to it is Matthias Lassen. That's picked off by McCann. Up for McBain. And McBain taken down. That's going to be a penalty to Matthias Lassen of Denmark.
Jordan Vinton casually heading to the bench.
And so with 9:19 to go, Canada up 1. We'll go to the power play here at the World Hockey Championship in Prague.
Power play, Konečný přestávka. Pepsino brings the official maintenance look. We give you a taste. Try it with us. Also with our virtual nerd. It's pretty simple, but a great smile made lipstick on your dirty face. Choose your colors as you like. And here's Latino makeup on you and the stands. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. And goodbye. Thank you so much, Latino.
Ended up 1-0 and a goal by Connor Bedard. He's out there now.
2 minutes for holding.
On the power play as Lawson goes on for a hold, so it's Dubois, Bunting, Gunther, Bedard, and Power.
So Bedard and Gunther on the half flanks like they were at the World Junior together. Dubois and Bunting patrolling the middle.
Team Denmark, number 15.
Here's Gunther with it. Had the golden goal at Halifax in 2023. Bedard had the overtime winner in the quarterfinals against the Czechs. And away comes Bedard. Throws that rink wide for Gunther. Drops it back to Power for Bedard. Winds his way in, feeds that down to Dubois. A little backdoor pass was broken up by Oliver Lauritsen and sent down the ice.
I think Dubois, if he wants to, take 1 or 2 of those to the net. It will draw everyone towards him and then open up the passes to the back door he's looking for.
Now Bedard threads it ahead for Mangiapane. Gunther in, shoots and whistled that just high and wide. Knocked down by Bunting. Bunting. Rink wide to Bedard. Round Storm sends that rink wide. Bunting misfired on the one-timer and the puck back to center ice. And here is Power with it.
And the importance to change at a minute early on in the tournament on the power play.
Lead pass goes to Paul, drops it off to Tavares. And John Tavares drops that back for Byram to Cousins. Cousins to Byram. Cousins sends it back in front. Pitch chance off the post for Mangiapane. Still shaking his head about that. Cousins to Tavares. Feeds that down to Paul. And Tavares works in, has a look and shoots, and that's off the outside of the post, up and out of play.
Tick, tick. Mangiapane cannot believe it. It was a, don't read lips, broken play, and he has wide open net. He takes a second to corral it, and Tico does a good job of getting his glove up near it, giving him something to think about before bringing it off the crossbar. And when he came scooting in a couple of years ago, those were all going in for him.
It was a remarkable tournament in so many respects. And under very tight COVID restrictions, the players were bubbled. And had players stuck in quarantine for the first few games. 9 things had to happen for them to make the medal round. They had to win 4 games, but 5 other things had to happen, and they all did.
It was a Nick Paul golden goal.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Connor Brown's dish.
He was back even strength, and there's Nick Jensen, a long shot that was blocked, and McBain spins away from Russell. McBain straightened up there by Nick Jensen. The Danes have weeded out some of their Jensens, though. They had as many as 4 if you count Jensen Abo in the equation. Now loose behind the goal and picked up by Alexander True.
So Andre Tournier is trying to establish this line of Mercer, McBain, and Tanev as a sort of energy trust line.
And a loose puck in front, stolen by Tanev. He's got it back now. Try to drop that back. True picked it off. And looks ahead for From. Working in and shoots. He put that high with Zellweger coming back on him. Now a race for it. Dubois comes in on Lauritsen. That's Oliver Lauritsen trying to shield off Dubois, who holds for teammates to come off the bench. Here's Hagel with it loose in front. Hagel couldn't quite reach it. Plays it back around. And McCann falls. Severson trying to center it. Now back around. Severson plays it back in. Hagel centers it, bouncing puck to McCann. Throws that back, and that shot by Gooley flutters into the glove of Dico. 5:45 to go here in the opening period. Canada with a 1-0 lead. Shots are 7-2 Canada here in the opening period. And a gold medalist in 2015 here in Prague, and also the last time before that it was held here in 2004. Canada's won 4 gold medals since 2015. Here's Caden Gooley.
Another busted stick.
And Bedard's broken stick got in the way there.
Oh, misfire on the bench. They're trying to grab it.
Now he's got one. Oliver Lauritsen brings it back out for Denmark. Long shooting, stopped by Bennington. Long rebound, chopped away by Severson. Paul flips it down to the Danish zone. Now a loose puck in front, bounces to Severson. Plays it back around to Paul for Bunting. Bunting back down to Paul. Lays it down for Gooley for Bedard. Walks right out, steps around his own broken stick, feeds it back in front, just missed Paul with that pass. And at the line, it's held by Bedard. In comes Severson. Chops it out, the bouncing puck goes to Paul, goes up and out. Who put it out is the question. And that's going to be a penalty, I think, to Denmark. That'll be Frederick Storm, who goes off for delay of game.
That puck was bouncing around. He chopped at it. Chopped it right out. And I think it's a good shift by the Paul Bedard bunting line, and yeah, there it is. Skips up on his blade, and out she goes. Well, the Canadians make the call, so another power play, which hasn't looked totally comfortable yet. Obviously, adding John Tavares to the second unit is a new wrinkle.
And Tavares wins that faceoff back to Mangiapane. Tavares walks it in, shoots, and Deco makes the stop on that. In addition to everything else he brings, Tavares still one of the NHL's top faceoff men.
What a luxury. They got Cousins on the right. Nick Paul's very good and takes some on the left as well. So you can really pick your spots when you want to get in and take them.
And Tavares for the faceoff against Alexander True, who spent 4 years in the Western League with Seattle, also played a handful of NHL games. Tavares back for Cousins, the shot scores!
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Cousins, and it's 2-0 on the power play goal.
Simplify. Take the shots that are there, and the ones that are harder to get will open up. And Dylan Cousins, from distance, wrists it in. It's quick puck movement. Tavares underneath through the seam. Nick Paul goes right where he's supposed to. Heels outside the blue paint. No interference whatsoever. Draws in Lawrenson. You got Paul and Lawrenson. That's an eclipse. Good luck for Deco. And just have to find a corner.
And Cousins does pretty well scoring for Canada as well. 15 goals in 18 games at the World Junior and the World Championship. He had 7 in 10 games in 2022.
He was fantastic in 22. Better offensively than I maybe thought he might be.
And nicknamed the workhorse from Whitehorse, but he might have some company. You thought he'd be the only player from Whitehorse? Now look out for Gavin McKenna, the 16-year-old from Whitehorse, who was tremendous for Canada at the under-18.
That's an understatement. He'll be in the NHL in what, 2 years?
Yeah, he's a late 05, late 06, sorry.
So that's like an 07, so he won't be there until 2025. Draft eligible.
26, I think. Yeah, that's right. He's an 07. He's a late 07.
Okay.
I can't compute late 07s.
No.
Byram works back in.
A hold by Blickfeld he is getting away with.
And then takes a bop back from Byram. They're still tangled in the corner. Brought up by Hagel. Drops that back for Dubois. Made the tournament all-star team playing for Canada in 2022. Inside 4 to go here in the opening period. Canada 2-0 lead on Denmark. The Danes have 13 players who played for them in the 2022 Olympics, their first ever appearance in the Olympic men's hockey tournament.
And that was a monstrous qualification win they had.
They beat the Norwegians in Oslo, won that 2-0. Nick Ehlers scored the insurance goal in the third period. Sebastian Dahm was the goalie for Denmark in that tournament, posted the shutout in that last game. He's not here. We mentioned, though, that Denmark does have a goalie spot open on the roster.
The longer it goes, the less likely Freddie Anderson.
You'd have to think now. I mean,
this could be done in a couple nights. Come back for the last week. If they win one more game, then he really won't be done.
Chip back to center ice. Paul reaching for it along with Bedard. Paul right across the line for Bunting. And now Bunting digging for it. Lawson ties him up. Paul to Bedard. Throws it back for Power with a quick shot. A good save by Deco as Bedard finds Power. 2 first overalls connecting.
Forecheck, puck support, and then get it to the playmaker. So there's Bunting to Paul. He pops it right to Bedard, who then he makes the skill play through traffic. Right on the forehand on the offside. That's a good save. Power did what he had to do, was get it above the pad. Ideally right under the bar, but at the very minimum under the pad, above the pad, and Deco makes a save. Just figuring out how offensive Owen Power is going to be. He already does a lot of things really well, but sure.
Away comes Bedard. Threads that back in front. Just missed the stick of Severson, who had jumped up. And now Olesen tried to clear it up, but Bunting sealed the wall again. Paul comes in. Bedard will be the beneficiary of 2 of the NHL's top puck hunters.
And willing to give it up once they get it.
Here's Goulet. Flips that back down the corner to Paul. Hayden Goulet. Flips it back in the corner. Goulet throws that back, and there's Paul with a quick shot. Tico made the save up high. That staggered him a bit as From comes back the other way. True. In comes True. Poke check by Paul from behind. At the line, it's held by Brugesser. In shoots. He fired it wide, and Jensen can't hold the line. Jensen back across to Brugesser. That's knocked down by Blickfeld. Spent 3 years with Portland in the Western League. Was drafted by San Jose, played a handful of games for the Sharks. But you made the good point during Denmark's game yesterday against Austria. If an NHL team's going to look at him, it can't be for just any forward spot.
No. You're going to play what he does well, score goals. Play on the power play.
He's got to be in your top
9 at least.
Right.
But can he kill penalties or check? Not likely. So more likely top 6 required.
That's a big hit there as he slammed down Hogard. Final minute now, the opening period. The puck skips off Zellweger into the bench.
It's interesting. I was watching on the bench for Canada after this breakdown, and Denmark goes the other way. And Andre Tournier went down, put his arm over Michael Bunting and Connor Bedard. Explaining to them, like, yes, we want offense, but when we activate defensemen, you have to, somebody has to be a high guy. We can't sacrifice structure and defense at the expense of chasing more goals. Very calm, very teachable moment there for Connor Bedard, who, as great as he is at offense, still has a ways to go in learning decisions for defense.
And in Tournier, Canada has a coach who has not been afraid to call out any player at the World Championship. Now Tavares centers it. Dubois missed on that. Here's Hagel. And that skips away to Molgaard.
You don't mind being accountable as long as it's respectful.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, for Connor Bedard, those are little moments he needs to hear about. It'll only make him better. And it'll make him a better candidate to play for Team Canada at the Olympics.
And potentially that Four Nations
and the Four
tournament,
Nations, which is next year, which he is thinking about.
Zellweger back for it. And now picked up by Mercer, who pokes out ahead. As time winds down here in the period, Canada goes to the dressing room with a 2-0 lead thanks to goals from Connor Bedard and Dylan Cousins.
Better period for Canada. A little more cohesive, a little more organized, an improvement from the first game, which is exactly what they're after.
You're watching the 2024 World Hockey Championship from Prague, Canada, 2-0 after 1.
Against Great Britain, first goal against Denmark. Next to all our players of Team Canada have easily 2-0. We have a lot of improvement ready for you during the intermission. But now it's time to check out the statistics of the first period of the strike game, Denmark against Canada.
we have a good goal.
On you in the stands. All right, kick off to you.
Six down, please! No play in the goal, goalie interference. We've got no goal on the play, okay? You guys stay in the crease. If you want to challenge, you can take it, okay? There's no ice. Your guy, who's the white player, is an all goalkeeper, okay? That's a good goal. Okay, that's a decision. Thank you very much. We have nothing more to say. That's it, how it is, okay? We see the police. Is that the same for both teams? It's the same for both teams. Sure, sure. If it happens on the other side, we go with the same way. You think that's a goal? Yeah, I think it's a good goal. Hey!
Hey! We're done! We're good! We're good! Hey! That's enough! We're done! No! He had time to react on that.
Jako pro každého malého kluka, tak po fotbale, hokeji byla naše nejoblíbenější hra.
Tak dneska už jenom vzpomínku, jo.
Asi od 15 let znám jenom hokej.
Hokej pro mě znamená strašně moc, jsem sportem posedlý, závislý. Tak jsem odpoledne odehrál fotbalový zápas a hned jsem běžel na stanici večer chytat hokej.
Hokej pro mě znamená zábavu, protože od malinka se uměl hrát.
Another crazy hockey nation is definitely Latvia, and they finally got bronze medal last year in the IIHF World Championship. Right now they're playing their second game in Australia in review of this year's World Championship. As you can see, maybe surprising result of the first period because France is in the lead 1-0 against Latvia. We will follow this match as well, but now let's go back to Prague Arena and let's see the highlights of the first period of the game Denmark-Canada.
Kom igen här boys. Nu kör vi här. Nästa mål. Nästa mål. Det ska vi ha. Kom igen här.
It's time to welcome back to the arena, Team Canada!
Back here in Prague for period 2 between Canada and Denmark. And
John Tavares trying to power up there with some gel, trying to get his body situated, which can always be a bit of a challenge the first couple days overseas.
we've all had our struggles, haven't we?
And we're not doing anything.
No.
We're sitting here.
We're in
chatting.
suits calling games, yes.
We're not captaining a national team against a very motivated opponent.
We won a gold medal here in Czechia back in 08 with the World Junior Championship in Pardubice. Matt Halischuk, the golden goal for Canada in that tournament. There's Colton Parayko on his 31st birthday battling for it in the corner. Played back down to the Danish zone as Mathias Lassen goes back to pick it up. Like a lot of the Danish players, has spent time in Sweden. He's been there the last 9 years. Of course, Copenhagen and Malmö, Sweden, are just separated by a long bridge. The long shot. Binnington makes the stop on that point shot by Nicholas Jensen. And True back for Jensen. Got tangled up there with True. He's still spinning around.
Good drop by McBain. If he held his stick there, he would have picked up a penalty.
To the Brugesser. Now brought ahead. And that shot deflected back in front. True. Poke check by Binnington. And Olesen plays that rink wide to Brugesser. He was part of the Danish team that won promotion from Division 1A, the World Junior in 2011 to go to the top division. Denmark spent 5 straight years recently in the top division of the World Junior before being relegated. They were the masters of winning the right game.
You lose them all, but you beat the other team.
Yeah, just beat the other team you're battling with and stay alive. Seventeen Danes have played in the NHL. Frederick Anderson, the only goaltender, though. Now Bedard. Moves up behind the goal. And Lauritsen plays it on. That's Oliver Lauritsen. It bounces back down to the Canadian zone as Byram goes back to pick it up.
It's the one pair with the 2 lefties on it. Alexiak playing on his offside, so a little bit awkward sometimes at the offensive blue line.
Bunting chipped that ahead, trying to find Bedard streaking ahead. And Bunting got buried there by Nicholas Jensen. Here's Bunting again, and Jensen buries him again. Bunting's had just about enough of that. As Poulsen feeds that to Storm, who bats it around. A sharp angle shot tipped in front by Storm. That goes wide. Bunting's got it back. Winds his way through center ice, crisscrossing with Bedard. Bunting walks right in, shoots, and that was knocked away by Weisse. Nick Paul back around to Bunting for Bedard. Walks out, throws it back in front. Great stop by Deco on Bunting, and then Bunting knocks down Jensen as that battle continues. Hayden Gooley pivots at the line, has a look. He shoots, and that goes off the skate of Bunting and wide. Severson, Gooley, Bedard calling for it, walks in, and it rolled off his stick.
Down and out, too. This went down way too early.
Now Severson snaps the pass into Mangiapane walking in. Mangiapane back to the point, but Gooley couldn't hold it. The Montreal first rounder in 2020, 16th overall. Knocked down by Molgaard, moving in on Severson. A little backhand shot, Binnington the save. And the rebound cleared by Gooley. Gunther tried to chip that out. The puck goes into the Danish bench.
Canada comes right back out, gets down to the offensive zone. After giving up a couple rush attempts early, this one, the rebound to True. Can't quite handle a rolling puck with little help from Dubois into the hands. Could have been a penalty there.
And don't look now, but Latvia is trailing again. Down 1-0 to France.
Nothing easy with those guys.
They trailed Poland 3 different times in their game, then took the lead of them late, gave up the equalizer, went to overtime and won it. Now they're down to France. Never dull with Latvia around. Marcus Lauritsen, who scored against Canada in the last meeting in 2022, that 3-2 win by Denmark. Mangiapane works in. Drops it off to McCann. Throws it back in front. It skipped there for a moment. And Marcus Lauritsen picks it back up. The younger of the Lauritsen brothers. Here's Matthias Lasse. Drops it off to Lauritsen, who plays for Frankfurt in Germany's DEL. Here's Pareko with it. Bangs that back to center ice. And picked up by Oliver Lauritsen. Suffered a shoulder injury in last year's tournament.
That's right. Stuck around though and watched for a little while.
Watch his brother play.
Yeah.
Fromm comes in. It's kicked away by McBain. Late offside indicated against Denmark. And here's Owen Power with it. Chipped back down by Mercer. And here's Tanev digging for it. Brought back out by Jensen Abo. Rink wide he goes to True. And that's put in offside by Olesen.
A little slower pace to start the second. Canada gets to work on some of their neutral zone play. I'm watching, and I could see the guy, you heard Andre Tournier before the game talk about players get the system implemented, and then while they try to figure it out, they're sort of thinking on the ice, which slows them down.
Right.
You need to get it to a point where it's instinctive, and you're just playing, and you're in the right spot. They're not quite there yet. Like, you can see the guys sort of checking, correcting themselves as to their positioning on some of the set checking positions.
Hagel up for Dubois. He was spilled there by Nick Jensen. Now fed back in. That pass by Anderson disrupted. And Nicholas Anderson came back in to try to cash on the rebound, but Binnington turned him away. Molgaard back in behind the goal to Shield. Anderson leaves it there. Here's Shield. Back to Lawson. Hard shot taken by Brugesser. Saved by Binnington. And the Danes applied some pressure here in the second period. Lawson to Marcus Lauritsen. Back into Morten Poulsen. Poulsen playing his 12th World Championship for Denmark. There's Marcus Lauritsen. Long shot that deflected just wide. Binnington brought down. Puck still loose. Pad save. Rebound score. Christian Besa caps off a offensive flurry for Denmark and draws the Danes back within one.
That was well earned. Long sequence in the offensive zone for Denmark, and the Canadian defenders just out of gas. Everyone standing, staring, and Weiss has come off the bench, attacks from the blue line on down, and able to corral the loose puck. Good hands it tight to tuck it past Binnington. And that was just too long on their own end. And Denmark back within one. As their belief grows.
Besa took a stick in the face in the pre-tournament, wearing a full cage. Plays for Fishtown in the German League. He played 1 year for Blainville in the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League. The World Junior Tournaments for the Danes. He's got them on the board here as the Danes applied some sustained pressure there. 2-1 Canada leads here in the second.
26-15. Power break. Czas 26-15. Gołów Jan Jastrzęb, daci cisło 65. Christian Weisse, asystent daci cisło 9. Henry Stern, cisło 38. Morten Poulsen. Koleční přestávka. Now it's up to you to stand the QR code that shows the IIHF and decide who will be the fan of the game. Here's where the second will represent the two fans. And through the bishop, IIHF, all right, Stoker, you will decide the winner. I think we're almost ready. Let's see the two candidates, Canada and Denmark, vote down. It is a close call, but Denmark in the lead. Get crazy, Canada.
Denmark's drawn back within 1 here. 6.5 minutes into the second period.
Shots 6-1 Denmark in the second. Full value for their first goal of the game. You will see the North American teams look tired late in shifts more than the European ones. They haven't been in game situations often enough over the last several weeks.
That plays offside at the Danish blue line.
And when you're tired, your legs stop moving, your brain doesn't move as well either. And Dubois kind of standing watching, not recognizing Vesa is coming down to grab that rebound. And belief can be a powerful thing. Right now Denmark's building it.
Chipped down by Dylan Gunther. Mangiapane after it. Cousins chips that to Gunther. Gunther drops it off to Severson. Walks right in. Severson plays that rink wide. Here's Gouli with it. Gouli has a look. Down to Gunther. Try to feed that back in front. From broke it up.
He's
now
quick.
Cousins back defending.
He's quick.
In comes Matthias From streaking in. Sends it back across. Little backhand shot by Olsson. The stop made by Bennington. Loose in front. And Matthias Larsen had that shot blocked by a sprawling Caden Gouli. That shook up Gouli. What a chance for Denmark there to tie it up. And Gouli is really laboring after that shot block.
Gutsy shot block in an awkward spot. An important one.
On his backhand now, lifts that back to center ice. He's a long way from the Canadian bench. Mangiapane, a hard shot that was blocked, and Gouli gets to the Canadian bench. Brought in now by Shield. Shield drops it back for Marcus Lorentzen. And the 12 Danes who played in that 2022 game that Denmark won 3-2. Paul sweeps at it. Now picked up by Parayko. Long lead pass to Bedard. In comes Connor Bedard. Shoots. Tico makes the stop.
They're going to call interference on Bunting as it was getting released.
And Bunting and Lassen having some words.
He's trying to grab Lassen to get open for a pass. And here's From. He can absolutely fly. He draws everyone towards him and more chaos. And here's the shot block. Oh, right in the midsection on Caden Gouli. So not only is Canada on their heels, Bedard doesn't score on the near breakaway. Canada now goes down shorthanded. One more look at the shot block. That hit in the tender area.
So the Danes will get their first power play. They were 1 for 6 in the game against Austria. Not surprisingly, the goal was scored by Joachim Blichfeld. And you know exactly where he's going to be.
He's Alex Ovechkin, right-hand shot, hangs over there. Waits, doesn't move too much, but when he gets to him, he's dangerous.
Gouli remains on the Canadian bench after the shot block, so that's one encouraging sign. McBain for the face-off against Russell. Patrick Russell, free agent signee by Edmonton. Played 60 games in the NHL, played a couple years at St. Cloud State prior to that. Face-off won by McBain, and here's Parayko with it with time, and sends it down the ice. Here is Russell. Rink wide he goes to Nick Olsson. Banks that back in the corner. Blichfeld. Leaves it for Olsson, now goes to that left face-off circle. Parayko with a rolling puck, feeds it back down the ice. Nicholas Jensen plays that back in, but the puck goes off a stick, up and on a flag.
Denmark has built momentum. Now they got to continue to capitalize on it while on the power play. Spirited discussion heading back to the bench, as often happens when power play guys don't get it going the way they like.
Well, for a team like Denmark, the power play is so critical. They don't normally score easily, so Hagel moves in, plays that down.
They're not alone in that regard this tournament.
Hagel tied up in the corner. Picked up by Lauritsen. Up ahead for Vesa, who has this Danish goal as Gulli back out there, stepped into him, Severson. And Gulli puts that off the glass and down the ice. 100 minutes ago on this Danish power play. And here is Marcus Lauritsen. 3 seasons in the American Hockey League with Lake Erie. And Bennington plays that really high off the glass. Put wide by Brugesser. Here's Parayko again to send it down. Nick Paul races to it. And Paul wins that battle for the puck. Walks out, waits, shoots, and a glove save made by Deco. And to hold it with Paul working dangerously.
Good job by Paul. Beating the puck down the ice. Establishing body position. And it seems he can't find Tanev on the back door, was not able to, but didn't turn it over. Making sure to get a whistle. And this is probably a pretty non-partisan crowd, which means they'll be cheering for the underdogs.
Yeah. There are lots of Danish fans here. Basically everywhere is a short flight to Prague. Right in Central Europe. More than 4,000 Finnish fans are here this weekend. There'll be more next weekend as Parayko moves in. They couldn't get tickets for the Czechia game against Finland on Friday night. Tickets have been hard to come by here. And now Patrick Russell brings it out. Final second of the power play. Russell shoots. Bennington kicks it out. Another chance at powdered wide by Ogard. And Bunty breaking ahead.
Got a slash coming up to McBain.
So Canada's going to be shorthanded again. 9:46 to go here in the second.
Are you okay? Quebec, you're such a hero! Quebec, have already saved. Wow.
So moments after Michael Bunting goes off for interference, Jack McBain gets a slashing penalty, and Denmark's right back to the power play.
And then they're not making it easy on themselves. Look out.
Who got spilled there. Nicholas Jensen back to Nick Olsson. Plays for Oskarshamn in the Swedish league. Olsson shoots, goes off a stick and wide. Oskarshamn got relegated in the best of 7 relegation series in Sweden this year. And the ratings for that playoff series in Sweden are monstrous.
The relegation one.
Oh, imagine, I mean, to stay in the league.
It's just, I can't. I mean, I played in that league, but I can't imagine doing it in the NHL.
Oh, the ratings would be good for that too. Blickfeld has it knocked away. Russell plays it back to Olsson. Lots of traffic in front. Olsson steps out. Feeds that back to Jensen. Across he goes. Blickfeld shoots, hit the side of the net. That's the shot they want. As Parayko plays it ahead, now sends it back down the ice for, I think, the 4th time on a penalty kill for Canada. Marcus Lauritsen for Oscar Molgaard. He too plays in Sweden. Vesa lost the puck and put that by Severson. Back to pick it up is Brugesser. Rink wide he goes for Alexander True. That pass broken up by Tanev. Swings him behind the goal, banks that to the blue line and just out. He's trying to find Dawson Mercer streaking ahead.
While also not putting it over the glass. It's a tough angle from down there.
Lauritsen back to Brugesser. He finds True. Banks it back around. Here's Gulli on it. And And chipped out by Mercer. Severson banks it ahead, but Mangiapane was peeling back the other way. Final seconds now, this Danish power play. Brought in by True, back in front. That pass just missed. One shot for Denmark on that power play as McBain steps back on. Remains 2-1 Canada. Mogard moves out. Save made by Binnington. Loose puck at the side of the goal. Picked up by Goalie. The Danes have had the edge in play here pretty decisively in the second period. Long lead pass for Storm. Frederick Storm moves in, waiting for help to arrive from the bench. Storm pivots on Power. Here's Dubois with it. Pokes out ahead for Hagel. Rink wide pass to Power. Owen Power looks back and feeds that down to Dubois. Dubois backdoor pass. Hagel shoots at the side of the goal. He can't believe he missed.
Yeah, almost too much time.
And now Hagel gloves it down. Got to pass that back for Tavares. That was broken up by Jensen Abo.
Hagel still rattled. He didn't put that one in.
Owen Byram up for Power, who chips it down. Zellweger winds it back in. Now McCann goes after it. And Bedard pulls it free. Back for Zellweger. Zellweger shoots. That floats wide. Parayko steps up. Chips it back for Paul. Nick Paul fires. Loose puck in front. And Deco quickly pounces on that as Bedard gets into it with Patrick Russell.
Just like with Chicago, no one allowed to touch Bedard in the scrum. And look at this pass from Pierre-Luc Dubois, snapping it through. Take your time, settle it. He just pulled it wide. And that was after a tough Nick Paul turnover allows Mulligard to talk it once, twice, and 3 times on Jordan Binnington, who only had 3 shots against in the first. He's had 10 already in the second.
Right.
And the shots now 13-12 for Denmark in the game.
And 10-2 here in the second. Mangiapane trying to work that free. It's picked up by Mulligard. He's a second-round pick of Seattle in the 2023 draft. Given the NHL talent they've had, surprising that Denmark made its Olympic debut in 2022. Long shot by Gunther. Rebound back in front. Save made on Cousins by Deco. 5:49 to go here in the second period. Canada leads 2-1.
That's right. That's the way. Good job.
Back here in Prague, I want to take a moment to say hello to all the moms back home. My mom Florence in Edmonton.
My mom Wendy in Toronto, I'm sure they're watching.
Your biggest fan.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Tapes everything. When I stopped playing, thank goodness I started commentating for something else to watch.
There's Severson a shot that deflects wide.
And to all the mums out there.
A lot of pressure on me because she's very much in your camp.
Yeah, but if you're a teammate of mine, then she really likes you too.
Oh, good. Well, that's good to know.
But just so you know, if it's ever a bad broadcast, it's likely not my responsibility in her eyes.
Probably right.
That's why we love our moms.
Morton Paulson tries to bring that out. He walks there by Mercer, takes a whack from him. Lead pass to From, working in, shoots. It's off the stick of Gooley. Up and out of play. 5:08 to go here in the second.
Well, if you're Canada, this is part of the process. Recognizing the ebbs and flows in the game, when it's not going your way. Why is it not going your way? And it's really because Canada's decision-making has taken a turn. Managing the puck up the ice, their support away from it. Now they're giving Denmark rush opportunities and extra possessions, which they will make you work if you give them that.
Another face-off won by Tavares. Matthias From, we mentioned, was a draft pick of Chicago, a 5th rounder in 2016. He's never played North America. He's brought down there.
He stopped skating.
Another penalty coming to Canada. Tavares will go off, but you wonder if From would get a look in North America. Led the Danish league in goals and points this year.
It's a big guy, skates really well, and if you get caught playing defense standing still and reaching, bad things happen. And we've seen a few different penalties for players like that. And I was saying, I wonder if the most recent shift with Bedard and Paul, Jared McCann played there. Michael Bunting took that penalty on the rush by Bedard. You just wonder, as Andre Tourigny tries to impart some discipline, how this shakes out. And another sort of big penalty kill here for Canada.
Right.
More power play for Denmark.
3 straight here for Denmark in the second period.
Can't say they're not deserved.
There's Perico with it.
And he clears it down. This is a recording.
Is that 5?
Yeah. That's because they keep winning faceoffs. He's allowing him to wheel and clear.
He leads the tournament in shot distance.
Bad for the shooting percentage.
Olesen. He watched there by Tanev. He's taken in hard in the corner. Olesen with it. It's under Tanev. Now, on the other side, here's Alexiak with it. Blichfeld knocks it down for Denmark. Back at the point, there's Niklas Jensen. Being shadowed by Brandon Tanev. Now Blichfeld works it in, shoots. That's off the stick of McBain. Now Tanev with a steal. Brings it back out. And risks that rink wide and heads off on a change. Minute to go on this Danish power play. Still to come tonight. It'll be Austria and Switzerland here in Prague. Sweden and Poland in Ostrava. And France still leading Latvia 1-0 in Ostrava. And by the way, some news here. Other nations bidding for the 2028 World Championship have withdrawn, so it looks like Paris and Lyon will host the 2028 World Championship.
Get your tickets now.
Good thing I hate wine and cheese. Here's Brugesser. Back to Marcus Lorentzen, feeds it across. Next year, Denmark and Sweden will co-host, Herning, Denmark, and Stockholm, Sweden. Olgaard. Back to Lorentzen. A hard shot taken there by Brugesser.
They grazed the post on the way by.
Olgaard works back in and sent down the ice by Severson. Fired back in by Brugesser. Shield back on it as Tavares steps back on. No shots for Denmark in that power play, so Canada has weathered 3 Danish power plays here in the second period. Some more pushing and shoving breaks out.
These Danes not know you don't poke Jordan Binnington? As he doesn't care for that. Here's the one-timer. Does this catch a post?
Yep.
Just glances it, and Weiss is in there screening without a glove on. Right where you take your finger off. You ain't gonna puck home that fast. Looks like a mess. Got his nose all bandaged up. Cage on. Dropping his glove in front of the net. Here's the Danish goal scorer. Denmark had a pretty good first game, won handily over Austria, 5-1, so they appear to be on form.
Blichfeld slides that down for Jensen Abel. That pass broken up, and away comes Bedard. Connor Bedard Rink wide for Dubois. That was ticked away at the last moment by the long reach of Oliver Lordson. Now chip back ahead as Russell goes in on Byram. Bowen Byram racing back. Taken in hard by Russell. Marcus Lauritsen played that as Lauritsen was stepping off. That was close to too many. Shots even at 15. Canada 2-1 lead here in the second period. And away comes Alexander True. Drops it back to Fromm, walks in and shoots. That's partly blocked by Byram. Gunther up for Cousins.
Look out.
And a chance the other way now for Olesen. Olesen drops that back for Lawson. That was broken up by Gunther. And Gunther takes a whack there from Olesen, moves it across to Pareko. Lugerser brings it back in for Denmark. Picked up by Mangiapane. Mangiapane plays it back around to Zellweger. Olin Zellweger snaps that pass ahead for Cousins, who chips it down. Got a stick on it, so there's no icing. And here's Felix Schiele. Scored in that game against Austria. Drops it back for Brugesser. And Jensen plays it back in. Binnington out to play it. Schiele picked off that pass. Final minute now of the period. Zellweger to Mercer. Up for Pareko. And Pareko lays that back down to the Danish zone. Besa, who has the Danish goal, had it picked off by Tanev. Racing up is Severson to keep it alive. Tanev banks that back. Mercer for Tanev. Shoots, tipped right on by McBain. Save made by Deco, and he hangs on to that.
Hasn't happened many times with a shift in the offensive zone for Canada in the second period. Finally get a forecheck going and some possession to slow down the charging Danes. Jack McBain plays for Andre Tourigny in Utah, in Arizona, now in Utah.
Saw a fan this morning who had the Arizona
Kachina?
The Kachina logo on, and I had to say, hey, Arizona. Goes, I feel stupid now.
Well, it's 20 years, he was coming for 20 years, so yeah. It was a good run.
Turns out you made the Arizona Coyotes what they are today.
I went through 3 rinks and 3 owners, so.
Sorry, Wendy. Now your mom's mad at me. Puck played an offside at the Canadian line.
So it looks like Canada will get out of this period down or up 2-1.
Yeah.
But they won't be pleased at all with this second period. Just got away from the good things they did in the first, which was puck support, forecheck, cohesive units moving up the ice. We'll have to find a way to get back to that.
Shots are 12-6 Denmark here. In the second period, the Danes have the only goal. And we'll go to the second intermission in a 1-goal game.
Good on Denmark. They pushed, they had to. They scored the only goal in the second period and deserved it. And they will be full of energy and belief for the third.
2-1 the score after 2 at the 2024 World Hockey Championship in Prague.
What a dominance in the second period. We'll speak about it later on, but standing right now, check out the statistics and especially check out the number of shots by Danish team.
Winner PK, hell of a job, eh? Good fucking job.
Serious injury from pucks and other objects being propelled into the spectator area. Be alert at all times during warm-up and after play starts. The offense, we are using chip game pucks. If a puck
cross check! No! Freeze! Freeze! Hey, get out! Get out! Get out! Get out!
Stop yelling! Number 8, let's go in the Furious, go! Number 8! Number 8, let's go! Roll over, roll over! Oh, man. That was close. All good, TV?
Cross check! No!
Questions is here. Let's get started. Okay, first question. Is it true that Denmark's best result was 8th place in 2010 and 2016? We mentioned in the pregame that you still have few seconds, final 3 seconds to answer, and the obvious and right answer is yes. And we see that the area is full of hockey experts. Let's face second question. And as you see, you must be quick and right. How many times has Canada won the IIHF Ice World Championship? Also, the answer was in the pregame 10, 16, 23, or 28. I can tell you the most recent one happened last year in 2023. And it was 28 final for Canada, only 79. Right answers. And the final question is here. Put the following countries in correct order for most hosting countries of the IIHF World Championship to least hosted. Denmark, Czechia, Latvia, and Finland. I consider Czechia and Finland as hockey countries as favorites. But don't forget Latvia and their passion. We've seen it last year in Riga and the bronze medal for Latvia. Those are the key facts from the past 2020 IIHF World Championship. And You see, Czechia is first. So, those were 3 questions for you, and we're looking for the winner, and the winner should pick up his prize. And the official information desk, and here is winner. It is Radek. So hopefully some Radek will get the prize. So congratulations, Radek, you are the winner of the quiz. And in case you want to pick up the prizes, do it. Get the prizes at the information desk behind sector 101. Congratulations, Radek. Now it's time to check out the result from Austria, because there is still Latvia and France playing their game number 14. And as you can see, France, after 2 periods, still in the lead 1-0. So maybe one of the first set and surprising results of this year's World Championship. We'll see. And now back to Prague Arena, back to Prague's section of 2024 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship. We've seen a wonderful second period, and these are the highlights.
Jordan Bennington allowed 1 goal on 15 shots so far. He was beaten by Christian Bates in that second period. The only goal of the middle period. Connor Bedard has scored again for Canada. Scored in the first. He's got 3 goals so far in the tournament. But it's a 2-1 lead for Canada heading for the third period. And there have been tons of close games so far. The Finland game earlier against Great Britain was an anomaly, but France leading Latvia 1-0. Latvia went to overtime against Poland.
It's surprising, but we shouldn't be surprised.
And this tournament began here in Prague with, on the opening day, Czechia and Finland going to a shootout. And the Czechs winning 1-0.
Let's see if Canada can play in the offensive zone.
And shoots, kick saved by Tico. And Ogard brings it back the other way for Denmark. Pareko with a puck at his feet, plays that ahead. And the puck skips back to center ice. Chip back down to the Canadian zone. And there's McBain with it. Jack McBain skates it out. Son of longtime NHLer Andrew McBain. That pass bounces back in front, got by Parayko. And Alexia plays it back to Tanev, who's back defending his brother Chris. Pretty good defenseman in the NHL.
That would be an understatement. Chris is having a fantastic playoff.
Among defensive defensemen.
Not much better. Jacob Slavin, him.
Look out. Pennington pokes that away from True, who was rushing in. But the other way from center, the True with a quick chance, and Pennington makes the stop.
Defensive zone coverage has not been on point in the second and third period. So Paul reverses it, and Alexiak's behind the net. Parayko goes behind the net. Bedard doesn't stop and recognize, and that is True, point blank. Great A chance against Jordan Binnington.
Off the face-off, kicked ahead by Gunther. Chip set by Oliver Lauritsen. Gunther gets a step and shoots, and Deco makes the stop. This is Gunther with Paul and Bedard. We've not seen Michael Bunting since that interference penalty in the second period.
And we've said that André Tourigny has not been shy to challenge or be demanding of his players, even in a short tournament, for players that aren't his, except for these couple of weeks. He's been successful doing it. And this is the reality. You play for Canada, there's good players not playing.
Ridley Gregg, a healthy scratch today, as Jonathan Taves was added, or Jonathan Tavares was added to the lineup.
That would have been newsworthy.
And now back goes Byram racing in. Is Vesa to win that race. Lawson spins it back across, knocked down by Bedard along with Gunther. In comes Connor Bedard, works in, backhands it towards the goal. Gunther takes a whack at it, sent back in front, they score! Connor Bedard!
And we'll have to wait and see. That was really close with Gunther trying to hang on side.
The Danes are looking at it to see if they'll challenge.
That was a slow-generated 2-on-1. Bedard starts it with his great hand-eye coordination. He picks off a puck out of the air at his own end, but he kind of mishandles it. Here's the play defensively. Don't do this against Connor Bedard. He knocks him down all the time, but he's trying to get in ahead. Now, I don't know if that's the case. That's an easy tap in for Bedard. Good job by Gunther to keep with it. Box it out, Nick Paul. I'll take this one, but we need to see the offside when Gunther and Bedard head across the blue line.
There's no indication that Danish coach Mikael Goth is going to challenge this. So chalk it up as 33 goals in 29 games.
34 now?
You're right. Sorry, my apologies. I'm losing track. 34 now.
What a fantastic job by Gunther to drag the foot, stay on side,
right,
maintain enough speed to continue the attack.
Now McCann works in, fed that rink wide, but Shield got a stick on that. And Severson hustles back. 4 goals for Bedard, leads the tournament so far in goal scoring.
Come on. Come on. It's unbelievable. And again, it's no power play goals amongst this 4, I don't think.
Nope.
Well, 5 on 5. And
Cousins has the power play goal for Canada.
So here's the rush. Now Bedard knows what he's doing too. He makes sure to let it slide across. It's 2 sides of it. Gunther dragging, Bedard getting the puck across before he handles it laterally to give Gunther the best chance to stay on side. And what the coaches are like, that was a good defensive play.
Right.
Being in good defensive position that led to easy offense. Well, there's a lesson in there somewhere.
Hagel pivots back, slides that back to Parayko. He shoots, it bounces it wide. Zellweger got mugged in the corner by Blickfeld. And Parayko back on it. He has played in 2 previous World Championships, led defenseman in goal scoring full time. Last tournament was in 2017. Here's Dubois with it. Pierre-Luc Dubois. Feeds that down to Parayko. Lots of room. Parayko walks right in. Wraparound. Tridico made the save. Now Parayko back with it. On your birthday, you can try the wraparound.
With that long reach, why not?
Bounces right back in front. Zellweger reaching for it. And now it's going to be a penalty on Zellweger for taking down Blichfeld. They're going to call it a trip, and Denmark's going back to the power play.
There's Blichfeld, who had Zellweger all tangled up in the previous corner.
Number 3, 2 minutes for creeping.
More like a hook in the hands is what it was than anything. That's penalty. Gets a stick parallel to the ice, gets it up by the hands. That's always called a penalty. A chance for Denmark to get right back in the game. Oh, Zellweger was trying to get inroads into the lineup.
Denmark 0 for 3 on the power play so far. Latvia, by the way, has tied it up against France. Rodrigo Eballs has scored.
Scored in the last game as well.
Latvia, of course, coming up its first ever medal at the World Championship, a bronze last year in Tampere. And one of the great celebrations we've ever seen. Tanev up for Cousins, short-handed. Flips it back for Tanev. That rolls just wide. Mesa missed that pass. It's picked off by Mercer. And Canada changing as Mercer winds his way in short-handed. He waits for the change to be completed. And drops that back to Parayko. Watch this.
Oh no, he didn't get all the way down.
He only got it halfway there. Jensen, rink wide to Blichfeld. Now Binnington out to play it. Down to Gooley, who is off balance. Bounces back to Nicholas Jensen. Feeds across to Molgaard, back to Jensen. Shot blocked in front, rebound loose, and now picked up and brought up by Mercer. He's got McBain with him, lays it back down to the Danish zone. 45 seconds to go in the power play. Molgaard winds in. That pass broken up by Cousins, but it bounces right back to Storm. Storm feeds across. Molgaard in, shoots, and sprawling in front of that again was Caden Gooley, and the puck goes up and out.
Chance for Molgaard right in front as Canada doesn't get the puck out. Careless at the blue line and ends up with this good chance that is deflected off the leg of Gooley. A desperation slide as Molgaard, the teenager, trying to elevate. Good defensive play by Gooley, but just another little moment. It's 3-1 in the third period. Gotta get that puck out. Michael Bunting affixed to the bench in front of Tourigny. He is the stopper.
Yeah, it stops the forwards from bumping into the defense. He's
the
right
grocery
in the middle.
stick, we also like to call them.
What?
The grocery stick.
The grocery stick. Oh, that's cruel.
It's tough the groceries from running into each other, you know.
Tell me you were never the grocery stick.
No, not off. Maybe my last year, which we don't talk about.
Oh, that never happened.
No.
That's like Babe Ruth in St. Louis. It never happened.
It was me in St. Louis. It never happened.
When Cousins plays it in.
Forward by Jensen has been very physical. 48 for Denmark. The puck now. He's been leaving a path of players in his wake.
Now Binnington back out to play it. To Power. No one Power bumps out of Mangiapane. That's picked off by True. Another quick shot that time taken by Ogard, and Binnington gets an arm on that. 3-1, Canada leads here in the third.
Now, take microphone cheers. Equally simple. On the jungle screen, you will see two Pilsner glasses. Wear yours and show us how you can cheer now. It's time for a second to show us how exactly to do it. How to do it,
We have also two Pilsner rings, and this guy next to me is Gustav. Gustav, do you know how to say cheers? Okay, you are absolutely right. So does that mean cheers?
Where are you? Who will cheer? Okay, let's see it. Slovakia, hello! Going in! Grab your Pesarova and cheer on the giant screen.
Back here in Prague, by the way, Babe Ruth played for the Boston Braves, not St. Louis. Okay. Your last year was like Babe Ruth's last year, played for the Boston Braves.
It might have been playing for the Boston Braves that year went.
Was your last year in St. Louis?
Yeah.
There you go. It was you was in St. Louis, not Babe Ruth. I was getting you two mixed up.
Understandable. Bunting back on the ice.
Takes a belt right away from Brugesser.
You gotta go. Gotta get off the ice. He's going though.
He's leaving.
Whether you pick up the helmet or not doesn't matter. He got out of the play and got off the ice.
But if he picked up his helmet, put it on and stayed in, that's a penalty. Mangiapane throws it back in front, just missed McCann with that. Now Pareko. I think he was looking across for Gunther. Now throws it back in front, kicked up by Deco. Zellweger. Chips that back. Here's Gunther with it. Gunther shoots, and the stop made by Frederick Deco.
Michael Bunting with his first shift in quite some time.
And has to leave early.
He catches a toe on the way in and just falls awkwardly and loses his helmet on the crash of the boards. Now, I know Team Canada took note of the Gudas penalty last game, and we're going to remind the players, if you drop your helmet, you got to just get off the ice.
Right.
Whether you want to pick it up or not is incidental, but you have to go straight off.
I need a new one.
Frustration of here's how the game's going. He's picked up another point in this game. He's got 3 points in 2 games.
Here's Gooley. Long wrist shot, pinballs around in front. And brought up by Molgaard. Oscar Molgaard flips that down. Gloved by Binnington. And he'll hang on to that.
And it seems like Tourigny in his stead has offered to go with Gunther to play with Connor Bedard, who once again is a standout offensive performer. Got the show going early with this shot through traffic, then isn't that a goal scorer for you though? He's half the size of Nick Paul. But when it comes time to get body position to score a goal, get out of my way.
The first Canadian 18-year-old to score 4 goals in a men's world championship since 2006.
Taves?
Sidney Crosby.
Sidney Crosby. Taves was after that. Jeff? 05, 06, whatever he was. Did he play as an 18-year-old in this tournament?
He did. I think that was
05?
maybe 08.
It's
Taves
rare.
played the 06 World Junior.
Occasionally, young players, 18-year-olds, come to this tournament, but very rarely do they play a prominent role. They're there for the experience and to soak it all in. But Connor Bedard is not anywhere near a normal teenage player.
He's played in the 07 World Championship, scored a couple, then played in 08 as well. T.S. Lawson throws that towards the goal. Now it's picked off by Hagel. Busting out with Dubois. Severson jumping in now for the trailer. Gooley plays it back across, and Hagel missed again. He can't believe it.
That's his second one from over there. He is beyond pressure. That pass wasn't quite perfect for him, but he wishes to have done better.
Dubois taken down by Blickfeld, and a penalty coming to Denmark. And now Hagel with the extra skater on. Guess who? It's Bedard. Gooley shoots, and Deco makes the stop on the tip by Bedard.
Blickfeld, who maybe has gotten away with a couple throughout this game, doesn't get away with that trip on Dubois. Hagel still shaking his head. Gives it to Gooley. He knows it's coming back. He opens up a little bit on his front foot, but he goes just underneath it. He is on that one, Gord. You got to get your top hand way away from your body to create the angle necessary to flex your stick. And Dubois, I mean, could not be more obvious. And Blickfeld staring at the referee with his hands in the air, pretty much admitting guilt.
Right.
That was a largely important power play. You get one here, back under control, very comfortable.
Dylan Cousins scored a power play goal in the first to make it a 2-0 lead for Canada. And here's Tavares. Walks right in, trying to flip that back to Cousins. At the line, it's held by Byram. Great play on the blue line. Cousins Trying to dig that free, Tavares. Mangiapane, Tavares in, shoots, and Dico makes the stop on that. Now it's poked away from Tavares by Vesa. He has the Danish goal in this game, Binnington. By Vesa to head to Cousins. And away comes Mangiapane for Paul. Back to Mangiapane, that just missed. Cousins knocks it down, and it's bounced by him and back down the ice. Latvia and France still tied 1-1 in the third period. Pass misfire. Bedard back out there. And here he comes. Connor Bedard. Second straight game, he's got a chance for a hat trick. And Bunting was hammered there by Olofsson. Grabs his stick back. The puck goes back down to Dubois.
Unlikely he takes a bad penalty now, though.
Bedard spins around True, but True steps into him. True's got a hold of Bedard.
7 inches and 70 pounds.
Here's Dubois with it. And Dubois banks that back to Bunting. Bedard all alone on the other side. Gunther, Zellweger, here's Bedard, shoots, and Deagle gets a piece of that. And now True with it. And Binnington up ahead quickly to Bunting. For Gunther. Drops for Bunting. Back to Bedard for Bunting. Works it in, shoots. He tapped that wide. Parayko steps around that discarded stick. Kicks it back to Zellweger. Cross he goes to Gunther. Has room and shoots. And that was blocked by Oliver Lorentzen. Blickfield steps back on the ice past the midway point of the third period. Canada still leading 3-1. Parayko up for Tanev. Drops it off to McBain. There's a quick spin and shot by Mercer. The rebound put just wide by McBain.
Almost up and over.
Now it skips by Power. And Power at the center ice to McBain. Drop back to Parayko. And now McBain had stepped ahead, so Power has to peel back. Pass ahead to Tanev. Power up for Hagel. And Power fires out right down on goal. Dico has to hold that with Cousins bearing in. And the Danes will not be allowed to change after that long shoot and was frozen by Dico.
Almost a sweet play here by Jack McBain. Takes the rebound, pop it up on purpose. Oh, that would have been sweet if he could have tapped that one home. Sidney Crosby scored a beauty like that a couple years ago. And that was on purpose. That wasn't an accidental first touch. He was throwing that up and across to almost pull it off. Grabbing his stick.
Line held by Gooley. McCann got a stick on that. Dico steers it away. And as the day off tomorrow, play Austria on Tuesday. Its last 3 games are the toughest as McCann steals that ahead for Cousins. In comes Cousins, shoots. Dico makes a stop on that. And he's got Finland next Saturday, Switzerland Sunday, and closes out against Czechia on Tuesday. So the idea is to get better every day, and the schedule gets tougher every day. It's going to be raucous in here for that last preliminary round game. Tavares falls. Picked up by Dubois. Penalty coming to Denmark as Tavares throws that back, and Gooley just missed it. On comes Bedard as the extra skater. Severson drops it back to Hagel. Gooley up for Bedard. And finally touched up, and with 7:42 to go in the third period, Canada is going back to the power play.
Ice hockey fans, the attendance here in Prague is once again over 16,000. It is 16,050 people in the hall.
More than 60,000 in the great attendance. That's something incredible. So, dear friends, give us 5. Give me 5. Give me 5. Also, give me 5. Give me 5. No, everyone, give me 5 as well. You're fantastic and thank you for the amazing and great atmosphere here in Prague Arena. Give us 5.
In Denmark, player number 40, 2 minutes minor, tripping.
Nicholas Jensen, the hit machine, gets to call for a trip on John Tavares. And so, getting something going on the power play starts to get more important. It's been pretty disjointed. They have scored a power play goal, but it was a quick play off a face-off. They haven't had nice sets where they work it around and get to an open look. So we'll see if they can't find one here.
And Bedard up at the top.
And they have Zellweger at the point, which I was advocating for off air.
Bedard to Gunther, walks it back for Bunting, drops that back to Zellweger. Crossing goes to Gunther. Zellweger to Gunther. Down to Dubois, looks for Bedard, walking right in, shoots, it just missed.
That's better.
Gunther, Bunting. Drops it back to Gunther for Zellweger. Here comes Bedard again, snaps that rink wide, but the pass too high for Gunther to handle. Gunther down to Dubois. Bedard works it back across. Gunther. The whole rink thought he was going to shoot. And Gunther fires, puts that just wide. Here's Zellweger. Back down to Bedard. 3 guys in this power play won World Junior gold 2 years ago.
The Edmonton World Junior power play right here.
Here's Dubois walking in. Bedard holds. Gonna bounce it back in. The puck's still loose. Kick back up. Bedard with a chance. Shoots. Deco save. He's half in the net, but the puck is not.
And look at Michael Bunting not reacting at all. Whoa, Bedard and Jensen Albo are getting after it.
That won't be popular.
No. Bedard's not shy about pushing back.
And I think he's going here.
That was a better power play. Good movement, different angles, lots of chances. Ends up with this mad scramble in front. Michael Bunting poking at it, trying to get under the pad.
And how about Gunther, Bedard, and Zellweger were on the power play at the World Junior in 2023. Here they are at the World Championship.
There's a little shove from Bedard on Jensen Albo, and that reciprocated.
It'll stay 5-on-4.
That's pretty nasty in there.
Yeah.
You know, Connor Bedard's been tried his whole career.
Yeah.
He's trying to push him out of the game.
Doesn't work.
He's not going to fight you, but he's not going to back down.
Although he might kind of initiate that too.
No, he started a little sharp to begin with.
Now Tavares centers it. Stico is saved. Rebound put wide by Paul. 40 seconds to go on the power play. Byram swats at that, picked up by Tavares. Paul, rink wide for Cousins, but the puck skips off his stick and back out. Here's Tavares with it. Back across to Dubois. Cousins shoots, bouncing puck in front. Mangiapane reaching for it. And now Byram. For Cousins. Mangiapane back to Cousins, shoots, that goes wide. Final seconds of this power play now. Here's Tavares with it. Cousins.
Got to get a forward off the ice now.
Byram shoots, that's blocked as Nicholas Jensen steps back on and Byram back to defend. Steps into Jensen. Here is Tavares. Shields off Russell. And back to center ice it goes. Marcus Lordson played it across. And Brugesser hustled back to pick it up. Latvia and France are still tied at 1 in the third period.
These extra points here dropping along the way to wins, though,
right.
do add up.
In comes Tanev leaping in, and Russell came back to take that away. Tanev skated through Deco and knocked the stick out of his hands. Here comes Mercer with it. Tanev does have a knack for mischief. Banks that back to Power. Parayko long shot. Deco makes a stop on that and is able to hang on. 3-1 Canada leads here in Prague.
That's Leia and that's Christian, and together we're gonna play the rock, paper, scissors game. Okay, are you ready, Christian? What about you, Leia? So the first round will start now. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, 1-0 for Denmark. Second round. Rock, paper, scissors. Absolutely great win from Christian and Christian. Now look at this screen and you will choose one card. Okay? Under each card is different price. There is a gift, there is a pack, or a plush, mascot, or moment. And it's up to you which one you will choose. Which one do you want? C as Christian. So what's there? Wow! Mascot 4! Congratulations, that's Christian with his new
4:44 to go here in the third period. Canada with a 3-1 lead on Denmark, looking to improve its record to 2-0.
You can make an applause with your hand, it's still working.
Canada lost the last meeting 3-2. There's also a tie in there. Those are the only two Danish results against Canada that resulted in points. Hagel on it. Now Storm chips that out. And McCann has it back to Power. Up for Hagel. Hagel feeds that down to McCann. McCann throws it back in front for Power. The puck loose at the side of the goal. Bunting couldn't tap it home. Now poke free by McCann. McCann has a look and shoots and just missed off the end of the glove of Deco. Bunting with it now. Bunting drops it back to Parayko. To McCann. Across the top to Power. Feeds it across to Parayko. Parayko works in, banks that towards the goal. The puck still loose. Bunting digging for it. Deco's got it. And he hangs on.
That's good work in the offensive zone. Both Power and Parayko getting involved. McCann gets his first one across to Power. And Bunting, just can't get there. Lawrence with a good clear. Where Bunting slams it in the empty net. And you like to see a player respond. He's been sat for a period. And he stepped out, playing hard, but more disciplined than he occasionally can. So message sent and message received to Michael Bunting.
Face-off not done fairly. This is Paul with Bedard and Gunther. Off the dryers, Nicholas Jensen. Played junior and college hockey in North America. On his 7th year in the German league.
And watch him play. He feels like a college player. Physical, hits everything that moves. There's a lot of guys in college that have that mentality. 4 days of practice a week against them. Tough sledding.
Settle down.
Tough sledding. Settle down was uttered out of my mouth often. Save it for the weekend.
And Roberts Bukarts has scored for Latvia. Right, 2-1 lead.
Right on cue.
Well, with Latvia doesn't need an old-timers league. They got a national team for that.
Is Rehard still playing? Are both Bukarts still going?
Good check, I think so. Here comes Paul for Bedard. Connor Bedard winds in. What a great flip pass across for Severson. Back in front, and Paul tipped that just wide. Bedard takes a hard hit, feeds it back to Gooley. Gunther back across. Severson in, shoots. Deco the save. Gunther back to Gooley. 3 to go here in the period. And Nick Paul back on him. For Gunther. Gunther back to Gooley. For Severson. Shoots. Deco save. Rebound loose in front. Knocked away by Jensen and set down the ice. And that'll be an icing call against Denmark. 2:41 to go in the third.
Good shift for the Paul Bedard line again. Making nice plays through the seams. Deco credit. Deco's been solid in the third period. There's been plenty of chances. 20 shots for Canada in the third. Big time response after a less than stellar second.
Still to come tonight. It'll be Austria versus Switzerland. Dan Robertson will have the call for you. With Mike Johnson ably providing color. Here's Tavares. Wraparound try. Deco down. And Dubois poking at it, but Deco's got it.
This is how you close out a game, though. Play in the offensive zone.
Denmark can't get the goalie out if they wanted to.
Forcing icings, changing lines, high percentage plays, no hope plays to the front, hard wraps, battling for position. And if you do it all game, you get calls, you get goals.
And Denmark, I think, is called timeout here.
Well, some of their top players have been out there for 90 seconds or so, so it's as much for rest as it is for strategy. And we've alluded to the fact that goal differential doesn't really ever matter unless you're trying to break a tiebreaker with a team that you are tied with.
Right, so goal differential is only a factor in a tie between 3 or more teams, and then it's only used in the games between those teams. So, for example, earlier, Finland beat Great Britain 8-0. That will not come into play, and that's done deliberately.
Right, for either side.
Right.
Getting to 10 doesn't help Finland. Keeping it at 6 doesn't help Great Britain.
Unless somehow Finland and Great Britain wound up in a 3-way tie for something.
So I say it will never really matter.
So, I mean, that's...
So you can be aggressive and pull your goaltender. Don't worry about if Canada gets 4 or 5.
Different situation, though, if, say, Denmark playing Norway.
Yes. But for now...
You might think about it then. And now there goes Deco to the bench.
And here goes...
And in comes McBain along with Mercer.
So try to pass it.
McBain shoots. That was blocked. Rebound score. Dawson Mercer hammers home the rebound.
I told you he was going to pass it.
It was just indirect. 4-1 Canada.
McBain will be having a laugh at his own expense.
And in his second World Championship, that's his first goal for Canada.
Nice. So Mercer had another 20-plus goal season this year with New Jersey.
Scored exactly 20 at the end of the year.
20 is 20. Deco goes off. And the back check. Tanev from his backside getting up to McBain. And Storm tries to turn his stick over and play goalie there.
Yeah.
He's a left-handed catching goalie, apparently.
Speaking of veteran players, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare
Did not.
with 3:09 to go in
Ties
the third
it up.
period. Ties it up between France and Latvia.
I didn't even know Bellemare was playing in this.
I think he's 39, maybe.
He was signed so many years ago out of this tournament.
By the Flyers. I think he was 28 when he was signed out of this tournament. Latvia just won't play dull ones. That play is called. Puck went up and out. Here Bellemare is...
Did he not just swat that puck out of the rink with his hand?
I thought so. We're talking about it.
I'm pretty sure that's against the rules.
Bellemare's 39. Just turned.
And
Yep.
They heard us. They clarified, and that is a penalty. You just can't, even by accident, throw pucks over the glass. So puck bounced in the air, behind his back, up into the glass from Lawrenson. So he will head to the box. That's good. Get together, get it right, do it quick, and Canada will end this game with a power play unless they score or take a penalty. And it's worth working on the power play. It's not a nothing minute 41.
Goal 14 Canada, scored by number 18, Dawson Russell, assisted by number 17, Jeff McBain, and 30.
So a minute and a half to go here in the third period. And away comes Byram with it. Brought back by Mangiapane. And here is Cousins. He scored a power play goal in the first period. Cousins works that back to Byram, across to Paul with a shot. He cued that wide. Cousins back to Byram. Dylan Cousins slides that back. Byram back across. Mangiapane for Byram to Mangiapane. Tavares back for Byram, feeds it across, and a one-time shot by Cousins was blocked by Oliver Lawrenson. Cousins back with it. Feeds across for Tavares. Goes back to Cousins, shoots that just wide. Might have clipped the glove of Deco. Now a chance for Tavares, hit the goal post.
Deco feeling that one. He's struggling going side to side.
Tavares feeds it back in front. Deco juggles that, but is able to hang on.
Good on Deco to battle right to the end. And he might have hurt himself a little bit on that attempted Tavares save. As the first one blocks. Here it comes. Oh my goodness, he got a blocker on it. That is outrageous. Look at this save. Oh, wow. And he's not feeling right. He is absolutely shaken up. Now he wants to finish this game, but he's feeling a little tired or strained.
It's hot in here.
Unusually hot for a rink.
Players have talked about it, that it's very warm. And here is Bedard. Down to Dubois, pulls it back in and scores!
We've been talking about taking the puck to the net from that spot all game. Take a step or go through your legs or reverse pivot. Rick Nash was smiling up in the press box because that was his go-to move right there. And Dubois does it. Dubois is so big and strong. He's got that in him, no problem. He just has to be willing to do it. And another point for Connor Bedard.
Yeah. And Dubois' 14th career goal for Canada at the World Championship.
Wow. There's so much space there.
Came to the All-Star team a couple of years ago.
I almost wonder if Deco and the way he's feeling right now had something to do with that, squeaking through.
Right.
As it just trips over his pad.
Goal 14 Canada, scored by number 18, Pierre Dubois, assisted by number
Zellweger back forward, across he goes to Power. As time winds down here in the third period, it was a white knuckle ride for a while as Sanabo was knocked down. Looks to be a late penalty here to Dawson Mercer.
Played high stick.
And Mercer acknowledging he did it as he heads to the penalty box.
Puck was popped up in the air, everyone's swinging at it. There he is. Oh, couldn't get him the first time, got him the second time. So a pretty gutsy effort by Denmark, really. They carried play in the second period. Got it to within 2, they couldn't quite get it to within 1.
No, they had some power play chances though. 3 straight in the second period. Austin plays it back across. Cruiser shoots and a nifty glove save by Binnington at the horn. As Canada takes it 5-1 to improve to 2-0. Once again, Connor Bedard is a big part of the story. Get used to it.
It's hard to describe him as quietly going about 4 goals and 5 points in 2 games. but it feels so matter of fact. He just finds a way to do something special all the time. And once again, Connor Bedard leads the way. Jordan Binnington, pretty solid.
Yeah.
He will be the goalie of record down the stretch. We didn't talk about him at all today, but he's Canada's best goalie in the world. If you hear about this tournament, he's Canada's best goalie.
Yep, he would, if the Olympics were starting tomorrow, he would probably be Canada's goaltender, wouldn't he?
100% he would be, yeah, for sure. He's already got his Team Canada gear all made up for him, I noticed.
Which is probably why he's here.
Yeah.
Right? With best on best hockey coming next year and the year after the Olympics. The time now for the player of the game presentations and then the Canadian anthem.
The best players of each team will be awarded by Raiffeisenbank International, the official sponsor of the 2024 IIHF Hockey Pro Championship. The prizes will be presented by Henrik Bak-Nielsen, the Vice President of the International Ice Hockey Federation and President of Danish Ice Hockey Association, along with Mr. Václav Štětina, the Raiffeisenbank Czechia representative. Best player of Team Denmark, number 77, Mathias Strøm.
He was a dangerous player today.
We learned that he is very fast.
Right.
Caught team's attention, scouts' attention with the way he can skate.
Henrik Bak-Nielsen will be the chairman of the organizing committee next year in Herning, Denmark, sharing with Stockholm.
Of Team Canada, number 50, Jordan Binnington.
And Binnington is named Canada's player of the game.
Really for his play in the second period. The game was in balance. Denmark was pushing. And they can't give it to Bedard every game because he did win it last time.
His senior national team debut for Canada, last played in the World Junior in 2013 and only played sparingly, but now he's the man here at the World Championship.
Especially in the second period, and let's hope for more of the Danish point of view. Thank you so much for joining us in the afternoon, but there is obviously an evening session coming up, and the observing the game between Austria and Switzerland. We will start at 8:20. In case you are the ticket holders, we kindly ask you to exit the arena and then re-enter. In case you're not, enjoy your time at the official fan zone that is located next to the arena. We can discuss the game and celebrate with Team Canada and with Team Denmark. Nagkakaroon sa ating ungkahin na si Danske Matanong na namuswento ang mga sineres ko binuha sa se 6 body nás čeká poslední bod dnešního programu mistrovství světa IIHF hokej. Ve 20 hodin 20 minut alpské derby utkání mezi Rakouskem a Švýcarskem. V případě, že máte lístky na zápas, prosíme, opuste halu a hraňte se znovu. Po případě, kdybyste je neměli, tak užijte si zbytek neděle v oficiální fanzóně, která je hned vedle pražské arény. Díky moc a těšíme se na vás zpátky zde. Krásný zbytek.
Christian, your goal in the second period pulled Denmark within one. How would you assess your performance against the defending gold medalists today?
Well, I think we had a little tough first period. We made a lot of own mistakes in our own zone where we just didn't get rid of the puck out of our own zone. And then in the second period, I think we kind of came back a little bit to our game and got some more pucks on the net and played a little bit more gritty and didn't make too many mistakes. And we had the chance in power play where we just didn't take advantage of it, so which is too bad right now. And then the third period was a little tough, too many penalties from our side, so which made like tough to play against Canada, of course. So yeah.
Your coach mentioned that your team would have to be creative against a country like Canada. How do you think you did in that department?
Well, it's tough to be creative, but of course we got to try to play our own game. We know what they can, and we still got to believe in ourselves and make ourselves the biggest chances possible to put pucks on net, try to make the passes instead of just being afraid of playing against these guys, but instead of just trusting ourselves and put some pucks on net. In Danish.
You now have a day off before your next game. How do you like to reset in a city like Prague?
Jeg synes, nu skal vi lige tænke over kampen, og så lige slå hovedet lidt fra, hvor vi skal ligesom bare få nulstillet igen, og så er vi klar til en ny kamp om 2 dage. Nu har vi i morgen, hvor vi har fri, så det er vigtigt at få noget ro på og se noget video, og så forberede os.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Colton, a 5-1 win, and Canada is now 2-0 at the tournament. After Denmark was applying more pressure in the second period, what impressed you the most about the way Canada closed out this game?
Yeah, I thought we came in the second intermission and regrouped a little bit, and obviously came out and played the way that we should, and I thought that we did a good job, obviously, of kind of regrouping, like I said, and came out with a strong third.
Jordan Binnington, named player of the game today. How much confidence does he give you guys playing in front of him?
Yeah, he's a great goalie. Obviously, we're lucky in St. Louis to have him, and I'm lucky to play in front of him all the time. But just to have him over here, he's a special goalie, special person. So I'm very confident in front of him, and like I said, fortunate to have him.
Lastly, I have to wish you a happy birthday. Will you be having cake with the team tonight? What are the birthday celebrations like in Prague?
Thank you very much. I am not sure. I think just keep it low. I don't even know if anyone knows, so I'm just trying to keep. I'm going to keep it under wraps and just try to be quiet about it. Not the most. I don't know. Yeah, maybe have a slice of cake or something later and enjoy the night.
All right. Well, enjoy the celebrations. Congrats on the win.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Give me a man after midnight. Take me through the darkness to the break of the day. Give me a man after midnight. Somebody help me chase the shadows away. Give me a man.
Oh, nice. I thought Merch kind of had a bit of fucking mixing on that shot in the end. Greater up. Hey, you fired that every year. That was good POP. Yeah. Shove it this year.
There we go. There you go. Got it.
Just a slow reaction.
Okay, Johan. We're gonna do two things here, Mike. We'll do the Bedard and then do the defensive zone
miscues,
struggles.
Yep. Some stuff to work on.
Yep.
2 questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Canada's got who again on?
They got a crappy team.
All right, who's it? I think that's right here. Yeah, right here. All right. It's not Norway. That's Thursday.
Austria, probably.
Yeah, Austria Tuesday.
If it's not Norway, then it's a crappy team. It's Austria. It's the last crappy team left. All right.
Here we go.
Okay.
Let us know when you're ready, Johan. Here we go. Toronto and our post-game hit in 5 seconds. 4. The last Canadian 18-year-old to score at least 4 goals in a World Junior Championship was Sidney Crosby back in 2006. He went up with 8 in 9 games. Through 2 games, Connor Bedard is halfway there.
It's amazing what he does, but this is what he does all the time, especially when he plays for Canada, whether it's under 18s, World Junior, or now the World Championships. He puts that Canadian jersey on, special things happening. What's maybe most amazing about his game is that he does it in sort of subtle, quiet ways. It hasn't been dynamic end-to-end rushes, wild shots. It's just so many quality, smart offensive plays. And it seems like whoever's on his line, Nick Paul and whatever other winger's been there, has been Bunting, been Gunther, that line really goes. That has been a foundational piece. A lot of it has to do with how well Connor Bedard handles the puck, makes decisions. So he's been a constant. He has delivered as expected, goal scoring, points, exactly what Connor Bedard is supposed to do, even at 18.
One thing the coaching staff might be concerned about was some slumpy defensive play, especially in the second period.
Yeah, games are not going to be perfect. Andre Tournier understands that. But defensive zone structure is something that he will be working on throughout this tournament. Different systems, different players. There's going to be an adjustment period there, but some of the break